Hey, Aaron. Hey, Aaron, are you there? Hey, are you available to banter back and forth for a minute if I need you? Because I can't. Vince is nowhere to be found. Oh, okay. Okay, no problem. Chuk, chuk. Good morning, Phoenix, Arizona. Welcome to another edition of the JV Sports Show. James Poovey alongside my broadcast partner, Vince Delicio. Vince, are you out there, my friend? I don't see you on the live stream right now. I was just sounding the APB there for Aaron. Oh, okay. Let's get that handled right quick. How are you, my friend? Oh, how dare darn producers! I tell you, you can't hard to find good help, isn't it? It's coming your way shortly, my friend. We can get you on the live stream here. It is not over, indeed, my friend. We got a very special announcement, Vince. We're going to be doing something pretty unique. I don't know if it's ever been. It's probably been done before, but I don't know if it's definitely been done in recent times at all. You want to tell folks what we got?
A little quirky, a little different, but it'll be something definitely unique that hasn't been done at least in this format before. And so there's been quite a few firsts, James, that are have been going on throughout this pandemic, and I got to say that this is one. And thanks to the creativity of the administration and faculty and staff out at Camelback High School, and trust.
Well, that's a big thing, right? That's a big thing. I mean, who are these guys? These guys want to come in and do what? They want to broadcast our graduation.
Yeah.
What? But we're excited about it. I mean, it's unprecedented, Vince. You
Yeah.
mentioned that it's probably been done before, but definitely not any time recently. So we're
No.
excited about it. We're going to be live on YouTube. We're also going to be live on KDUS 1060 AM in Phoenix. And
Yes.
it's also going to be available worldwide on the live stream as well, live.kdus1060am.com. So it's going to be great, and we're just trying to give the love right now to these students, and like we did last night with the athletes tribute show that we had. We'll be releasing those next week. We're just trying to give those guys some love because they kind of got the short end of the stick with this pandemic, and they got their season canceled, and they weren't able to compete, set any more records, or go to the playoffs one more time, or maybe win one for the thumb, as they say. The kids kind of got robbed, so we're just trying to give back as we can.
Yeah, they have. It's true, but they've overcome. They've been resilient, as has everyone else throughout this thing, and in a sense, creative. This concept is going to be really cool. It's going to be fun. And any other schools, if you want to talk about it, if it's something you're interested in exploring, let us know, and we'll see what we can do with it. But Tuesday we'll will be interesting. So,
yeah, we'll see how it goes. If we can pull it off, which I think we will, Vince. I'm not gonna put any doubt out there or anything, but it's gonna be great. We've already went through the logistic end of things, and it's gonna be a good production. So we're gonna have fun with it. It's gonna sound good. It's gonna look good. We're gonna do the best with it that we can. So it's gonna be a great time. We're just gonna celebrate those students and try to send them off in style, Spartan style, I should say. Huh?
That's it. Big thank you to Principal Dana Cook, administration, athletic director James Arndt, who's a friend of the JV Sports Show. He was on with us a while back, and as well as the rest of the administration, faculty, staff, and in allowing us to pull this off. And yeah, so and the weather will be favorable as well. So we'll be out on the football field and in the surrounding areas. So.
Yeah, I think they said one more little cold front coming through on Tuesday, right?
Cold front, yeah.
High 80s or so. So we'll take it, right?
Yeah.
We'll take anything we can get. Lots of exciting stuff going on right now. We mentioned last night we did a senior tribute show for not only high school but college athletes as well. We had some great athletes on with us last night, and just fantastic talking to them, Vince, and getting to learn more about them and their stories.
Yeah, and James, when do you anticipate that those 2 episodes dropping on our live stream?
Next week.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And big thank
graduation week, right? Next week is graduation week all over the Valley.
And it was so interesting how they meaning the student athletes, they gave us a lot of well thought out answers and in participating in this thing, and interesting where some of these folks are ending up next year, and some are coming back to kind of take care of some unfinished business. So we did a high school senior tribute show, and then we did a JUCO show to those sophomores whose seasons were cut just a little bit short this year, and so it was a lot of fun. And thank you again to the coaches that helped make it happen in nominating the student athletes that they did. And I think we did a good job. Besides some of the wisecracks, I think we actually got some good information out of them. So.
Well, there's always a few wisecracks. I mean, look, we were just doing this 13, 14 hours ago. We were just still doing this right here, Vince. But it was a great time just getting to talk with them. And thanks again to all the coaches, as you mentioned, that helped us put that together, because we certainly didn't put those shows together alone. So thank you for that. And more exciting stuff going on today, Vince. Are you ready for the OUAZ Spirit tailgate?
So tell me a little bit about this thing. I've got my trunk will be open outside, and I throw the little Weber grill out there. What's going on?
Perfect. A little charcoal, some kebabs or something. Well, OUAZ, this has got to be the brainchild of Josh Fisher. I can only imagine over there at OUAZ.
He makes things go out at that place.
Yes, he does. And he wants to get everybody together. What we're going to do is everybody's going to gather online. They're going to have some special videos. I think some coaches and maybe even some athletes have taken some videos at home, kind of letting us a peek into their lives. Kind of interesting times right now. We've gotten to see a lot of people's homes and stuff that we may have never seen before, on camera and so forth. You can't really see much of ours because we got our JV Sports Show sign here in the background, but it's going to be great, man. It's going to be a great time. They're going to have people come on and talk. They had a thing where you could submit if you wanted certain sports groups or coaches to jump into your family's tailgate, so you could have your webcam on. And
James, how many invites did you get from people?
I just been seeing it on the website, Vince. I never got an official invite.
Nobody
if that's what you're asking.
It's like junior high again, being the last kid picked. I didn't get the
last one at the dance, Vince.
Yeah, no invites. Come on, guys.
It's all right. It's all right. But it's going to be great. They're going to have stuff all day long. It starts at 11 a.m. this morning. Go to ouazspirit.com. They're going to be on all their platforms. It's going to be on their YouTube channel. They're going to have stuff on Facebook, Instagram, all kinds of good stuff. They're going to start out with women's soccer. They're going to replay some classic games over the last couple of years. And then check this out. 5 p.m. tonight, they're going to replay the Langston game from last year.
Really?
If you remember, that was number 17 OUAZ taking down number 12 or 13, I want to say, Langston at the time. A 23 or 24 win conference winning streak that they broke of Langston. So that's going to be a great replay. I can't wait to watch that one again.
And who was on the call for that?
I believe that was myself and you.
Oh man. And that's going to be on the school's YouTube channel? Where's it going to be found?
Yeah, it'll be on OUAZ Spirit Athletics YouTube channel. So you can just go to ouazspirit.com and find out more about that. But it's going to be a great time. They got a full lineup there. The kids are in the TV room right now, decorating and making streamers and all kinds of stuff. So it's going to be great.
Wow. And what time again tonight?
11 a.m. it starts, and then they're replaying the football game at 5 p.m. I believe that's the last event of the evening. I don't know that for sure, but I believe that's the nightcap, if you will, Vince.
Oh, man. Awesome.
OUAZ Spirit and Langston from Spirit Field, October 19th,
okay,
2019.
Great.
Big show else coming up here today. Who else are we talking with? We got a legendary broadcaster coming on.
We got a legend. I don't know how we pulled this off. I told it a little fib to get him to come on, but I'm not. We won't say anything until he actually gets here.
We're not actually on ESPN right now, but that's okay.
Yeah. I kind of had to dangle that in front of him. But Marty Manning spent 50 years in media, but 30 years at one radio station. He was on 99.9 with Beth and Friends, Beth and Bill, and so he's got a wealth of knowledge. I met him a few months ago. He's a PA announcer now for ASU Sun Devil Athletics, and struck up a pretty good relationship, and kept in touch with him, and looking forward to bringing him on to give us, a little bit of background and tell us, give his take on everything. And then, of course, we're bringing back our old friend, Coach Marco Regalado, down from South Texas, and all his coaching parodies.
Yeah, and you know what? He's going to debut a brand new one that he just did. He's going to debut it on the show this morning, Vince. So we're really excited for that. Stay tuned here on the JV Sports Show. Legendary broadcaster Marty Manning coming back after the break. I know I've got my notepad ready, Vince. This guy's been in Valley Radio over 30 years, so he knows exactly what it takes. Stay tuned here on the JV Sports Show. A great Saturday morning. We're so glad you joined us. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. And Aaron says we're clear. Okay.
My audio is from the station. I'm looking at my soundboard. I'm not sure what to adjust on that.
Well, you sound great. That's what matters.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Because I can't hear Aaron.
So you can't hear Aaron?
Yeah, Aaron, if I'm ignoring you, it's because I can't hear you that well.
Try it again, Aaron.
I can barely hear you faint in the background. Let me see. Where do I?
Are you on your phone with the Comrex app?
Yeah, Comrex, like every week.
Just volume up on the side. Now, do you got that phone running back into the soundboard?
Into the soundboard, yeah, but I'm not sure which one it plugs into in the soundboard. Now I got it in.
I got mine running into the USB 2 track.
Oh, okay.
Out of my Comrex device.
Out. Control it. No, not there.
Try the USB. You have a 1/4 inch?
Yeah.
Then you might have to just go into one of the lines in, like 5 or 6 or 7 or 4 or whatever. Yeah. And then just turn the gain up and the volume up so you can hear them.
You still hear me?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Huh. All right. Well, I'll just.
Okay, awesome. Perfect. Thank you, sir. We're good, Vince. I wouldn't mess with it because if you put it back into the mixer, then it'll start feeding back.
Okay. Yeah.
So we're good. Sorry, man. We're good.
Yeah. You want to say hi to James? Somebody's got to walk by and get something here.
Well, you're live on YouTube, so say hi. Don't forget we're live right now.
She wants me to take the banner down. This actually, I'm in my bedroom here. I got a desk in here, and she doesn't like the banner. I said
it's perfect. Good morning, Cheryl.
All the time.
Yeah.
I hope you
tell her the world is watching right now.
Bathroom in the background there.
Ah, so, perfect.
Yeah. There you go. All right. You know what? It's good. It shows we're regular people. We're not the celebrities.
We're regular Joes. Right? Oh, yeah. Yeah. We don't want to put off the wrong facade, right? Okay, no. We're going to let Marty in now.
All right.
And here he comes.
There he is.
There he is.
Hi, Marty.
Hey. Hi there. How you doing?
Good. How are you, sir?
I'm just trying to figure out where everything went. Let me see here.
Look for that.
I'm on a borrowed computer, so
look for the little it'll be like a little blue camera icon on the bottom. It probably just minimized, and then it'll blow your window back up.
Yeah, we can see you and hear you just fine.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay, where the hell did I go?
Okay, we're about there. It is.
There we go.
Sweet. Perfect timing, Marty. We're right back now. Welcome back to the JV Sports Show. James Poovey alongside my partner, Vince D'Alicio. Vince, when you're in the presence of greatness, you have to bow down and face the east, as Mike Reiner says from KTCK, the Ticket in Dallas-Fort Worth, and announce the greatness. It's Marty Manning joining us here on the JV Sports Show. Marty, how are you this morning, sir?
I'm great. I'm feeling like an old codger here because I'm trying to get the Zoom thing going and talking to you on the phone at the same time. And I'm on a borrowed computer, so all of a sudden it went away. So I can't see anything, but I can hear you fine.
Well, we can see you great, and we appreciate you joining us this morning. Thank you so much. And it's live TV, live radio at its best right here, right? You got it up just at the last minute, and we're good to go. So.
Well, Vince, I wore my Sun Devil themed Diamondbacks hat for you.
I like it. Beautiful.
There you go, Vince.
Beautiful. So, Marty, I got to tell you, number one, thank you for picking this week's music. I asked him, I said, what are your, favorite rock and roll band? And he said the Beatles and ZZ Top. So we went with ZZ Top this week. Nice. A little old band from Texas.
That's the only band from Texas. Love it.
Thing about it is, my partner's from Texas, and he's constantly putting that in my face. But Marty, I got to tell the story of how I met you. Okay, and this was just another blip on the radar for you, but for me, it was a pretty significant event. So, as you know, I worked some games doing PA for ASU athletics this year, and was doing some softball. And there was one game, one of my first games, might have been the very first game. It was a tournament to start the season, and you worked the first game of the tournament, the Kajikawa Classic, I believe it was. And I'm walking in right on the tail end of that first game, and I hear this voice on the PA as I'm getting ready to walk upstairs into the press box, and it was, my heart just stopped because it was. It was very distinctive. Welcome to Farrington Stadium, home of Sun Devils, and your Arizona State Sun Devils. I mean, it was very, very smooth. And I said, I know that guy. I know that voice. Oh my God, it's Marty Manning. And so I ran up there, and he was talking, and I was just like a little kid and so excited to meet the legend, and because of what you've done in your career. And I thought, my God, ASU and these young folks that are working in the booth didn't know that they were in the presence of the Marty Manning. They just figured it was just some guy named Marty that came in and was calling the game.
They thought it was some old guy that actually went to ASU in 1963.
Yeah.
Which was true.
Which is true, but there was more to the story. So Marty, there's so many questions I want to ask you, and we unfortunately don't have a lot of time, but let's go back. You grew up in the Valley. You attended Brophy Prep, but tell us a little bit about the Valley back then.
Well, it was certainly different, and we came here from Boston in 1952, and I always characterize our childhood as there's a guy wrote a book years ago, and the title of the book was "Where Did You Go? Out. What did you do? Nothing." That was pretty much my childhood. We just would go out and get on our bikes, and they'd say, "Don't be late for dinner." And we usually were. We ride our bikes up to Camelback Mountain and climb all over Camelback Mountain, and just go wherever we wanted to go. It was a very different world, for sure.
Yeah, Marty's been in the Valley so long, he's immune to snake bites, even Vince, playing on Camelback Mountain up there so much. Marty, what first got you interested into broadcasting? What first fueled that fire for you?
Well, actually, the way I got into broadcasting was I was always a big music fan since I was a little kid. And, we always would listen to the top 40, and the big night of the year was New Year's Eve, when they would play the top 40 of the whole year when I was 10 years old and that sort of thing. So I was fascinated by all that. And I was people have been in the Valley for a while will remember the old Criz and Crux battles. And I was definitely a fan of both of those. But I was doing theater at Phoenix College, and was very much into theater, and had a friend who people may recall, Toad Hall from KDKB. He was my roommate, actually. And he was at KDKB, and he said, hey, we need you to come down and do some voice work for us, because we just need different voices for the commercials? And I said, sure. So I just started doing commercials, and I never stopped.
Give us one of the most obscure ones you did back then.
Obscure. Well, I'll tell you what, I did a lot of clothing stores.
Okay.
We started I was at KCAC, which was a daytime only AM, and that was the hippie radio. And then we went over and we started KDKB. So I was at KDKB when it started. And and I did all the commercials. So at one point I was doing commercials for 5 different clothing stores.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
All at the same time. And each one had to be different and so forth. It was great, a great way to get started and just sink your teeth into it and start running, you know.
So it just kind of really happened on a whim, really. You just kind of stepped into it. And as you said, you just still haven't stopped.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then I met a guy who called me up about a year after I met him, and he said, I want you to come down to Texas and work in the station. So, okay, so I did that. I went to Austin, and from Austin, I went to Houston for a couple of years. Then I went out to California to a station called KFAT. That was a lot of fun.
Okay.
And then back to Texas for several more years and back to KFAT. And then I went to a great rock and roll station in Cincinnati called
Was it
WKRP.
WKRP? Oh, okay.
I knew that was coming.
WEBN. And then I was married to my first wife at the time, and it was freezing cold. Believe it or not, it got down to minus 21 in Cincinnati. I had no idea it was going to be that cold.
Wow.
My wife said, we need to go someplace warmer. And I said, well, I could always get a job in Phoenix. Remember when you just say that? You could just, oh yeah, I could always get a job.
Yeah, you always get a job. Yeah, right.
And
Wow.
And then she said, get one. And so I did. And that turned out to be 99.9 KEZ, where I stayed there for 34 years.
Now,
So,
Marty, you mentioned
yeah.
your love of music. How much fun was it to combine a newfound love with broadcasting and then your love of music to be able to sit there and DJ and use your voice and then also spin those tunes back in the day?
It was terrific. And I when I started out, I was doing at KCAC primarily, and then some at KDKB. I was doing air shifts, and you know, in those days, you just had a wall of albums, and you went over and pulled out an album, put on whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
And so it was really a creative form. It was a lot of fun, and you got to play wonderful music. But gradually, I realized that my real interest was in the production studio, and then that translated into doing live shots everywhere, which is like instant production. When you're doing live, as we called it, the Funmobile. When I was out on the Funmobile somewhere, basically what you were doing was live commercials, all the time. And I love that.
So Marty, and who would you say was your biggest influence back then?
There were a lot of them. If people, certainly my age, would remember William Edward Compton, Bill Compton. He was the one. Compton Terrace was named for him. He was tragically, he was killed in a car accident back in the 70s. But he was a terrific influence on me. Another guy that was a big influence on me, and I never worked directly with him, but I did know him, and I used to listen to him and go, how does he do that? And it was Bill Haywood. And
Yes.
Bill Haywood was so good.
Wow.
And I would just listen to, and what I learned from him was how to just relax and be yourself. And that's really what you need to do.
That seems to be the toughest part sometimes, Vince, especially for me. I know broadcasting, I'll get carried away and I'll just start talking so fast. And I say, oh man, I don't even know how anyone could even be listening to this right now.
Yeah.
But you have to just slow down and relax. And it takes time.
Or you feel like
you learn to listen to yourself. Yeah. Because if you don't listen to yourself, you'll find you'll listen to a tape, or they don't have tapes anymore, of course, but you listen to a recording at some point and go, oh my God, I can't believe I actually said that. You said something totally wrong or something, but you were going so fast that you didn't even hear it when you did it.
Yeah, exactly. Because, and there'll be times, where there's 5 seconds of dead air and it's like, oh my gosh, should I have said something there? Or what did I say? Or what didn't I say? And, yeah, I agree 100%. Marty, sports, how did sports play into it for you?
Sports, for me, well, of course, when we were kids, we played sports all the time. That was basically, we didn't have anything else to do. You're riding your bike around, but we'd go down to Monte Vista School at 36th and Osborne.
Yeah.
And I played Little League ball. And, sports fans in the Valley might remember a great basketball coach named Terry Carney.
Okay.
Terry he coached Chaparral High School for 30 years, and he won state championships and so forth. And when we were kids, I met Terry when we were about 10 years old, and he was a new kid in town and at St. Thomas School, and he taught me how to play baseball, and I got the bug, and so then I played a couple of years of Little League, and I played 3 years of Babe Ruth League. And listen, in Babe Ruth League, one of the guys that I had to bat against, you might have heard of him, was named Jim Palmer.
Oh my gosh. The underwear model.
Mr. Jockey.
He was at 15, he was throwing the balls 90 miles an hour, but you weren't quite sure where it was going. So that it was pretty daunting to come up against him. I remember he did pitch a no-hitter against my team when I was 15. But baseball has been my love for sports all those years, and it's the sport that I know the best, and that I coached a little bit when my kids were younger, and I love going to Diamondbacks games and just sit there. And I'm the quiet fan at a Diamondbacks game. I'm not shouting and jumping up and down and high-fiving people around me. I'm sitting there watching the game and analyzing it. And I love that. It's a kind of sport that you can do that. And you could even just be by yourself and really enjoy the game.
Well, Marty, we've got to step aside here and take a short break, but hopefully you can stay with us and continue into the next segment. We'd love to continue talking with you. So stay tuned here on the JV Sports Show. We'll be right back with the legendary Valley broadcaster Marty Manning, James Poovey, and Vince Alicio coming to you on a Saturday morning. It's the JV Sports Show. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Yeah, Marty, thank you so much for sticking around. Aaron, I'm still having I got to adjust a little bit. I can't hear you that well. So I apologize.
I'm going to have to help you out with that setup. Maybe walk through that setup with you, Vince, before next Saturday.
Okay. Yeah.
Is your volume up on your phone, Vince?
Yeah. And
phone?
The actual phone, yeah.
And you're coming out of the headphone jack, or are you coming out of the lightning port?
Out of it's the 3.5 millimeter where you plug the earbuds in. Yeah.
Perfect. It just might be a little low for some reason. I'll help you fix it.
Okay. Got it. So yeah, Marty, coming back, I was thinking, we talk a little bit more about how you've been able to how you were at one station for 30 years. Maybe talk about some of the different roles that you had, some of the people that you worked with, Beth and Bill, and some of the other local guys. Like, I'm a big, and I said this on social media this week. I mean, Jeff Munn is a huge fan of mine because he started off calling high school games like me, and so I'm like, God, I want to be like that guy. And then Tom Dillon was, when I was a grad assistant at ASU back in the 90s. Tom used to do the play-by-play for our games. For our football games, and he just had this distinct voice about him, and he was a nice guy. And then Stan Richards obviously doing the Suns games and the PA, but maybe talk a little about those guys and anything else that you want to add. Floor is yours. I mean, in fact, if you want the show, you can have the show. I'm just
we'll just punch out.
Yeah.
I'm wondering right now if Marty can actually hear us, is what I'm wondering. Can you hear us, Marty? No.
Oh boy.
So he didn't hear anything you just said. I'm sorry, Vince.
Live
radio. Here we are.
I poured my heart out. Let me.
So you'll have to just give him the Reader's Digest version of that when we come back live here in a couple of minutes. But we can see him great. It's perfect.
Yeah. Let me. Okay.
I got it though. I got every bit of it. That was great.
Okay.
I am fully aware of what Marty should be doing in the next segment.
Yes.
Don't worry about it.
Oh man.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Yeah. All right. Well, good.
Are you going to the movie today, Vince? The movie theaters are open today.
Yeah. No, I'm not. Actually, I got some
me neither.
stuff to do around the house. I can't wait about Tuesday. What time are you thinking you're going to get there?
I should be there hopefully by 5 for sure, but hopefully by 4:30 because I'm planning on leaving the house here at 4, and then I'll be over there about 4:30.
Are you able to see how many people are actually watching us on YouTube right now?
No, because I don't want to use extra bandwidth to go pull up another page.
Got it. Okay. Okay.
Oh, here we go. Now we got him. Now he can hear you, Vince.
All right.
All right, you want to bring us back?
Sure. Welcome back to the JV Sports Show. Vince and James and Vince here with the great, the legend, local broadcasting media. I want to call him a media mogul.
Icon.
A mogul, that usually means you got to have some, a few bucks in the bank.
I'm not a mogul.
Marty Manning. Marty, thank you so much for coming back with us, joining us. So during the commercial break, James was giving me a hard time. I was talking to you. I was saying, look, Marty, when we come back off the break, we wanted to talk about this and this and this. And James said, and you were sitting there and I was asking you, Marty, did you hear me? And you were just sitting there. And so I don't think you caught any of what I just poured my heart out during the break. But,
okay, I was busy being an old guy and trying to figure out where the hell did that Zoom thing go?
Yeah.
And I had so that I basically went back and joined again.
Oh, good.
And then I realized
perfect.
I have to listen. I listened to the Zoom with this little ear thing, and I've got the phone over here, and now we're back, and I get it.
So
perfect. Thank you,
what I
Marty.
wanted to ask you about specifically, you spent 30 years at one station. Now I'd say one employer, but the station probably changed ownership a few times. How did you do that?
Well, a few times. How about 6?
Wow.
Yeah, we had 6 different owners in the 34 years that I was there. And of course, Beth McDonald is still there. She's going on 36 years, I think, in September.
Wow.
Well, one of the ways is a little adage that I came up with was don't send that email.
Yeah, I've sent that email more than a few times. So yeah,
that's one thing I hate email for one reason is because you don't get the body English, you don't get the inflection, you don't get the thing back. So it's one thing when you're communicating with somebody who knows you very well, but when you're in the work field, and especially media people can be pretty sensitive. You say something you think is funny, and all of a sudden you're getting fired. So I said do that. But the other thing is, and this is something that the Diamondbacks use. I'm sure you've seen a FWTSY button, FAWTSY, which is find a way to say yes. And that's what I always tell young people that are getting started. They go, do you have any advice? And I said, yeah, learn to say yes. Can you do that? Sure. And then
can you do that for free? Yes.
Yes, if need be. I did a lot of stuff for free, and and sometimes I got paid about 10 times more than I should have. So it sort of balances out over time. And that's the thing you have to realize, I suppose. And that's not just broadcasting; it's a lot of things. Things tend to balance out over time. So maybe you do something for free here, and maybe somewhere else you get paid more than you should have. And at the end is, did you have a good time? Did you make a living? Were you able to keep going? If the answer is yes, then you're a happy guy.
Well, it's just like sports, Marty. I mean, you want to get the reps any way you can, right? When you're trying to broadcast, you're trying to call some games, you're trying to work on your craft. You want to do that in any way possible. And if you have to go work for free, then so be it. And I can assure you that most broadcasters that have made it, like yourself, have definitely done that.
Absolutely. Somebody told me once a long time ago at a station, and she said, well, they offered me a weekend job, but I'm not going to take that. And I went, yeah, take that. I said, you want to take the weekend job. Where do you think they're going to look when they need the next person?
That's right.
They're going to go, all of a sudden they go, well, our afternoon guy just left to go to St. Louis. What are we going to do? Who do we have? Oh, we got this weekend person. So you never know.
So Marty, I'm going to throw some names out to you, and I want you to just in a kind of couple seconds, few words, describe each of them. And these are all people that they influence me big time locally because the impact they made here. And these are all guys. This is part of the crowd that you run with. And so let's start with Jeff Munn.
Jeff's a great guy. Jeff is as good as they come, and as you know, he's a terrific announcer. And I always loved. I hated to see Jeff leave the Diamondbacks because I loved when he was doing the BP show, and he would fill in for Schulte, and he's just so good at it. He's unflappable and everything, and he's a great guy, really good guy.
Yeah. Tom Dillon, the late great Tom Dillon.
Tom Dillon was a much loved guy, was revered by everyone, and another really good guy. And the one time I did spring training announcing, I went over and kind of sat in with him for a spring training game, and he showed me how to do it. Here, do this. You want to say that, and then it was very generous. A good guy.
And then the best of the best, if you were a Suns fan back in the 80s and 90s, a PA announcer, gentleman by the name of Stan Richards.
Yeah, Stan. So this came up the other day. Somebody was asking about Stan Richards the other day. Yeah. He was such a funny guy. Obviously, he was a great announcer, and he was the first one that did the "Your Phoenix Suns," and really do that. But he was a production guy at KOY when it was a really big radio station. He was the he was the guy there, and I got to go and do some commercials with him, and then later at his other studio when he had his own studio. And the best part about that was that he could do 35 different voices, and he also had great stories. He was one of those guys that had great stories, and I'll give you one real quickly. He was working in some small town, and he'd been out drinking late Saturday night, and he had to work the Sunday morning show, and his job was to play these 15-minute religious programs, and they were on disc at the time, on records. So he fell asleep while the program was on, and when he did it, he somehow managed to turn the microphone on. So the thing got to the end. The program got to the end, and it starts going ka-chunk, ka-chunk, and then he's sort of snoring. So that's what you're hearing on the air, ka-chunk, ka-chunk. And so the owner, who was in an adjoining town, called him up, and of course, since the microphone's on, the phone doesn't ring, so there's just a light blinking, but he's still just hearing ka-chunk, ka-chunk, snore, snore. So he calls the sheriff, because it's Sunday morning, he's the only guy awake. He says, go down there and wake that SOB up. So the sheriff gets there and bangs on the door. Now on the radio, they're hearing bum, bum, bum. And the sheriff gives up and shoots the lock off the door.
Oh, man.
And that woke him up finally. But that's a Stan Richards story. That's a total Stan Richards story.
Wow.
How about that?
Wow.
Behind the scenes, Vince.
Yeah.
Stan also taught me a really funny commercial, which I stole from him, and he used it as a gag, and I did it elsewhere as a gag thing, which was a commercial for to deal with rectal itch.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, and it was. I'll just give you the tagline for me. It was a preparation S with minute particles of sand. When you itch, it scratches.
You'll forget about the other reason why you're itching. That's right.
Write that down for a friend. So, wow. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Good. Well, to Marty Manning. Marty, anytime you want to come back, by all means, please. The floor is yours. This was amazing, and just So, all right. I have one more question. How long ago did you get involved with ASU Sun Devil Athletics in terms of doing PA? And anybody that wants to hear your voice, obviously go to a softball game when softball starts back up again. But are there other sports that you also do?
Yeah, well, actually, that came up this year, and they were looking for announcers because, as they said, they have 26 different sports at ASU, or they did, and they always need an announcer for every event. And I know you do that as well, and you do it well.
And lacrosse, it's been a blast. I love it.
Yeah. I did a couple of soccer games, and then they had all those for softball. They had all those tournaments leading up to the beginning of the season. Yeah. And so that meant there was a lot of games, and I wound up doing like 20 some games, which was a great way for me to really get into the rhythm of the thing. But it's a fun thing to do, and it wasn't something I retired a year ago, and then that just happened to come up, and so I said, "Oh, that'd be a great thing to do." And I love sports, and you know, if you go into a sports game, you want to be the announcer guy, don't you?
Oh yeah.
Of course.
It
That's
takes
fun,
a
isn't
lot
it?
out of you though, Marty. I work one game and I'm spent, and you've worked double headers. I mean, back to back, and I don't know how you did it. I think I worked one or two of those, and I'm just so exhausted.
Yeah, well, I think a couple times we did 3 games in a row.
Wow.
And you know, whatever. It's not hard work. Come on, you're not digging a ditch.
Thank you, Marty. I needed that. Appreciate
There
that. Legendary Valley broadcaster Marty Manning, thank you for joining us this morning here on the JV Sports Show. We really appreciate it. As Vince mentioned, come on anytime. We'd love to talk to you again in the future. And 2 Sun Devil legends right here, Vince, you and Marty Manning. Yeah.
Thanks,
not
guys.
this guy. Thank you. All right, Marty Manning. Thanks again.
Thank you, sir.
So James, we're coming up on 3/4 past the hour, and we've got someone special coming up that joined us a little late last week. He's coming on with some parodies. We played a promo from him a little earlier.
Yeah, Marco Regalado. He coaches down at PSJA Memorial High School down.
Thank you. That was great fun
in Laredo. So he's gonna
Bye.
join us here after the break, and we're gonna talk to them. He's actually gonna debut his newest parody, Vince. So we're gonna let him set that up. And I haven't even watched it myself. I want to wait till we debut it here on the show next. So
yeah,
stay tuned here on the JV Sports Show. One more segment to go, and we're on our way to another great show, Vince.
Stick around, folks. Go JV.
Thank you, Marty. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Marty.
Thank you, guys. That was great fun.
It was fun.
Have a great
Awesome.
weekend, sir.
Let's do it sometime when there's actual sports to talk about.
Oh, man.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
Let's do it.
Okay.
Pleasure
Bye.
to meet you. Thank you, sir.
Great
All right.
guy.
So you want to let Marco in now?
Sure.
All right. Here we go. There he is.
Awesome.
Sweet. Thank you, sir.
Coach, there he is. How are you, sir?
There he is.
Oh.
He's in.
How's it going?
Good. How are you, Coach?
Good. Just trying to figure it out. I got my phone here on my AirPods, and then I got this, but I think
You're perfect, man.
audio.
I can hear you crystal clear. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Like, are you gonna want? Well,
It's
Like
different
when
audio. So it's obviously it's a different mic for the radio than it is for the Zoom. So,
Right.
So you want to keep that, whatever you're talking into the phone, keep that kind of not too far away from you. So they can hear you on the radio too.
yeah. Like, I just didn't want the audio from the computer to be picked up on the phone as well.
Picked up on the phone. Right. Got you.
I got you.
So when we start, I'll probably lower the volume on my computer.
There you go.
Yep.
There you go. Perfect.
Okay.
Sounds good, Coach. Appreciate you, man. I haven't
Yeah.
even watched the video yet. I want to wait and see it.
No. Yeah.
Vince, it's coaches playing Madden.
Oh my God. Oh my God. And what are you going? You got one or two voices that you want to throw in during the segment as well, for us?
We got to talk about your team too, man. We're going to talk about those Wolverines,
sports.
baby.
Yeah.
Either way, man, y'all can ask. I could do the old man.
A coach who won't retire.
Yeah, I could do that guy's voice or whatever.
Now, okay.
So what we'll do,
Yeah.
Vince, is we'll talk to him for a few minutes before we play the clip, obviously. So we'll
Okay.
get 5, 6, 8 minutes in, and then we'll play the
You can
clip and all that.
poke fun at my announcer voice I did yesterday.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, it's good
Okay.
stuff. And we'll just ask you a little bit about your coaching career, and then
Sure.
maybe give a shout out to a couple of your coaches too. And we'll just have some fun, man. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Glad you woke up today. It worked out.
I was awake last time. I just
Well, I thought Vince was standing me up this morning because I get on the Zoom meeting and I forgot to send him a link. It's my dumbass problem. But I forgot to send him the link, and I was thinking, oh, what? I was like, well, it might be just the Jay show this morning. But Aaron's like, no, he's on. I got him right here. I'm like, oh, good, okay. Whew.
Yeah.
I was even asking Aaron. I was like, Aaron, hey, what are we talking about in the first segment here? Because I can't find Vince anywhere.
I went on the old link, but it wouldn't.
There we go.
Oh, nice. Look at that.
There we go, baby.
I'm low key trying to get BSN to sponsor me.
I think you should.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Working
And
on
us.
it slowly but surely.
Shoot us a shirt when you can. Wolverines. All right, Vince, you want to bring us back?
Yep. Welcome back to the JV Sports Show. Here we are, 3/4 past the hour. We're coming up on the home stretch. And we are joined by a guy that that didn't know there was a time difference last week. He's at
Come
Central
on,
Time.
man.
We're at Mountain or Pacific here, 2 hours behind him, but all the way from South Texas. And our feature music this week is ZZ Top, little old band from Texas. Coach Marco Regalado. Coach Regalado, how are you, sir?
I'm fantastic. It's a beautiful Saturday. We just got hit with some rain, so I was kind of just sitting outside, just watching it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now you're here because you've kind of taken social media by storm with some things that you do that we all, as in the coaching profession, all kind of knew about, but you actually brought it to the surface, and you've got these parodies where you're imitating different coaching styles. Tell us a little bit about that.
So it all started just, with this quarantine. I downloaded the TikTok app. I told myself I'm never going to do that.
I think my daughter has that. Yeah.
I tell my kids stuff for having it, like at school. I was just like, I'm not going to get it. But, boredom sets in when it's week 2 of quarantine. I was like, man, I guess I'm going to try this out. So I downloaded it, checked it out. And I was like, man, I could probably make some funny stuff happen with this. And what I really wanted to lighten the mood, bring some smiles, with everything happening with this pandemic, the uncertainty, and everybody kind of being down. So it all started with one little video and shares and retweets. And I double checked at the beginning of the week, and I think I'm at over 3 million views just on Twitter.
Hey, can you share some of that with us? I think we've got like 5 or 6. So
5 or 6.
Wow.
But they're hilarious, Vince, and that's why they're so funny, coaches, because other coaches can relate to it. Not just coaches, but like the admins of the school or the university. They see these coaches, and that's why it's just so hilarious, and that's why it's caught on like wildfire. We're lucky that you're gonna you're gonna preview a new one today here on the show in a little bit too. So,
but give us one of your favorites real quick.
I think my all-time favorite one is the coaching clinic. Just everybody can relate to that, not just coaches, because there's teaching clinics, there's whatever business everybody goes to the clinics, and there's always those people. There's always the people who go to all the classes, there's the people who treat it like a vacation, there's always politicians, and then I like to call them the lobsters. There's the people who just hang out in the lobby the whole time. They don't go to any, it's just they're in the lobby.
Love that.
Just
trying to be seen, right, coach?
Yeah, there's all the characters. And of course, there's the super old coach who's just trying to get his 50 years of service plaque or something like that.
And the one I really liked too was when you did the coaches in the lunch line, because it's true that depending on how long you've been at school, you load up, and the other one's like, oh, it's $8, $8.
Yeah,
that's on a list of things. It's like when you first get hired, like, what do? Meet with stakeholders, meet with administrators. That's
meet the lunch
top
lady.
Of the list. Find the lunch ladies, make friends with the lunch ladies. Like, that's a big deal.
See, you get it, coach.
So the coach that won't retire, give us that one, coach.
Yes, I'm just here in my 57th year of the coaching profession. I really, I don't understand this Zoom thing. I don't know what it is. It's, this technology thing, it's not working for me. It's just pen and paper. That's what it takes to get wins, pen and paper.
And he brings out the big binder playbook up on the desk, right? And now we got all this stuff digital now. The kids can have it on their iPad, and it's great. But they're there. These coaches are in every program, and that's why the stuff you're doing right now is just so hilarious.
I appreciate that. It's just, I guess the thing I was just trying to go for is just trying to be relatable. Like, of course, it's parodied. There's certain things that are over-exaggerated because it is a parody. But for the most part, this is all stuff that people go through on a daily basis in our profession. So
tell us a little bit about your school, Coach. PSJ Memorial High School down there. You're down at the southern tip of Texas, right down there by Brownsville and Laredo. So tell us a little bit about PJSA and what kind of season you guys had last year with the Wolverines.
We were a brand new staff, so we got a lot of growing pains. We've been working to change the culture, and we're just trying to win the right way. We definitely were having probably the off season of the century up until the quarantine hit. But I work for a great head coach, David Brown, with he's got 20 plus years of college coaching experience. I work with a great surrounding supporting staff. Well, I love those guys, and then on top of all that, we have such great administration at PSJ ISD in general, and especially PSJ Memorial High School. They just support us in every way they can and let us just run with this program. So it's really a great environment. You know, it's one of those jobs where it's like, I'm happy, man. Anybody can call me or anything like that. I'm staying. You know, I'm happy where I'm at.
What position group do you work with?
So I'm the special teams coordinator, and I coach linebackers as well.
Oh, you're the linebacker. See, he did a parody on the linebackers coach.
Oh, that was great. Cloudy to clear. Cloudy to clear. I love it.
Hey, here you go. There's a linebacker, Rick.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. Never want to see the eyes. You never want to see the eyes, but he always wants to see the eyes. It's ironic. Yeah. It's great stuff, Coach.
Do we want to preview the new one?
Let's do it. Let's get it set up here. So, Coach, why don't you set this one up for us? What we're going to take a look at here, and start sharing the screen.
It's just kind of like what I touched upon yesterday. You know, stuff that coaches are trying to do. This is like day 400 without sports, and we're trying to find ways to keep each other entertained, keep the creative, the competitive juices flowing, because we're competitors. So the next best thing besides Chalk Wars is playing Madden.
Oh, playing Madden. Let's take a look. All right, let's see. Hopefully this is going to work, Coach.
You just have to play like you're coaching. I like to play as similar as I can to Friday nights. See, I told Coach I should be calling the plays. Hey, there we go.
And I'm not too sure the audio's coming through on that.
Big time plays in big time games. Oh, wide open.
It looks like it's good stuff right there, Coach. So we tried to debut that here on the JV Sports Show, but maybe you can see it there on soon. But Coach Regalado will be sharing that with you guys here very shortly on his Twitter. And where can folks find you on social media, Coach?
They can find me on Twitter and TikTok. It's at Coach Regalado, all lowercase, one word. And if you really want, you can find me on Facebook. It's just a little harder to keep track of everybody or who's accepting or sending friend requests. But you can look me up. It's Marco Alonso Regalado. But I guess just summing up that TikTok is just it's just starts off with him saying, you know, like, I like to play as close as I can to Friday nights, you know, just keep it playing real, just play it like a coach.
Yeah.
And then he just goes off on tangents and he's like, this game is so unrealistic. And
stick to the script.
At the very end of it, just ends up rage quitting.
Coach, thank you so much for joining us, Coach Marco Regalado from South Texas. Thanks again. Thanks for joining us here on the
having me on.
Show.
We appreciate your time, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Have a great weekend, sir. Look for that parody there on social media channels for Coach Marco Regalado. And that's some great stuff there. If you hadn't had a chance to check out his other videos, make sure and do that because and get the Kleenex because you'll be dying laughing, I assure you.
I think, James, I think we have another caller on the line. Aaron, has he called in yet? Yes, bring him on.
We got Coach Nesbitt.
OUAZ football coach Mike Nesbitt. Coach Nesbitt, how are you, sir? Oh yeah, he is. He sure is. So, Coach, you know, you're not one to sit around, but you're always finding ways to stay busy and improve your program, everything out there. What are you guys doing today?
Yes, sir. So, Coach, some of these players and some of you coaches have made some videos from home, correct? Kind of give us a little glimpse into you guys' home life.
Fun. Yeah.
Awesome.
Speaking of, Coach, we're going to put together a compilation of all of the times, the clips, all the times that you put me in a headlock. And James and I, by the way, James and I did not get any invites for this tailgate, and I thought we were, just as critical to the success of your program as the boys on the field were last year. No. Yeah, they must have had the wrong email address. I don't know, but we're only on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram.
Hey,
and
Coach, did you get a chance? First of all, we're excited for the tailgate. We're ready to go. The kids have been making streamers all morning here at the house, and everybody's ready to go. Did you get a chance to see us break down your golf swing last week?
Oh, that picture was hilarious. It was like he was. Yeah, that was.
Thank Camille for that picture, by the way. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
That's it. Well,
Coach Nesbitt, thanks for joining us, sir. No, go ahead, Vince.
No, I was just going to say thanks for joining us. And, we look forward to getting you back on the regular here once things resume. So thanks again, Coach.
Go Spirit.
James, another great show.
Another great tune right there. Sleeping Bag from ZZ Top. I love that one.
Best ever.
Off Eliminator or Afterburner, either one.
That's it.
Thanks, everyone, for joining us. We appreciate it. Thanks to our special guests today here on the JV Sports Show, Marty Manning and Coach Marco Regolato. Everybody have a great weekend, and we'll catch you next week. Don't forget, Tuesday night, Camelback High School live on JV Sports Show YouTube channel.
6 p.m. Go JV. Fun. Love it. Thanks, Aaron. Best producer in the biz. All right.
Thank you, Aaron.
All right.
Sweet.